Everybody, Erev Shabbat Shalom, Baruch Hashem, here in Eretz Israel. We are coming down to the last minutes of Tu Bishvat, which in America is just the morning of. So we're going to come back to this, Tu Bishvat, what it means to the Jewish people and to the individual and as a cloud. But first, we're going to talk about something in last week's Parashah in Makot Bechorot, the 10th final plague when it comes in Egypt. In fact, it was actually it was mentioned early on in the beginning to Paro that if you do not, Hashem tells Moshe, tell Paro, if you do not send my nation, I will kill your firstborn. Okay, and then 10 Makot later, and when Moshe Rabbeinu was about to bring down from HaKadosh Baruch Hu the 10th plague of Makot Bechorot, where all the firstborn are going to die, and Moshe Rabbeinu, we already said, is 9 out of 9. The guy does not go wrong because he's coming as a messenger of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. 9 out of 9, he's there. Now, between you and me, somebody is 9 out of 9 and comes and warns you for the 10th time. Don't you start getting a little worried? Especially if he's talking about your firstborn son who's supposed to take over to be the king of the empire of Egypt. You're not worried? Let's see what Egypt does. Let's see what Paro does. It says, Vayokom Paro bo'oto laila. Paro woke up. How could a father go to sleep when they're going to tell him that his firstborn is going to die that night? And 9 out of 9 times, whatever Moshe said came true. What's going on over here? But that's Paro. That's what a Rasha is. He does not care about himself. Why should he care about his own son, his own first son who's going to take over? We know that, and how does it speak to us today? We know that when a person, Chas v'Shalom, does not have money, he's forced to go collecting. He tried to work, he didn't go, so he goes collecting. Or Chas v'Shalom, if his son is sick or his daughter is sick, Bar Minan, he goes collecting because he knows that this is his own blood and flesh. So he's going to go and do whatever he wants. He wants going to bring himself down. He goes door to door and says that his son needs a surgery and it costs $100,000 and he'll get there because he knows that this is life and death. It says the pasuk in the Torah that V'lo haya sham b'Mitzrayim, there was no house in Mitzrayim that there was not a dead person. Meaning what? That everybody's house had a dead person in Makot Bechorot. Why? Because the parents, when it came to the education on their kids, they failed. When it comes to the ruchaniyut of a person, we just said when it comes to the nefesh of a person, physicality, a person, a father or mother goes door to door collecting for the surgery. But when it comes to the education of the kid, goes to school, Rabbi, how much? This is a private school that's going to teach your son Torah. Instead of going to public school to teach them, whatever they teach them today. Bar Minan, Hashem Yishmor, I can't even say it on camera over here. We all know what's going on in public schools. So the guy goes to yeshiva and wants to put his son or daughter into yeshiva seminary. How much does it cost? $30,000. What? $30,000? That means I have to put away 3 vacations now. So what? When it comes to the physicality of your child and you go and collect for him if he's sick, Chas v'Shalom, that you do. You bring yourself down. But when it comes to the education of his future, how to be a Jew and stay Jew and marry a Jew and have a Jewish family, all of a sudden $30,000 is a lot of money. Ve'en sham bayit she'en bo met. We saw by people, parents who don't care about their kids. In the end, they have dead kids walking. Why? Because they don't want to spend $30,000. Now let's say, okay, maybe you're not well to do. You really don't have money. But is it worse than going door to door to get money for an education for the future of your kids so you won't marry Christine? So you don't come crying down the road? Or he doesn't become a drug addict? All the money that now you're spending for his drug rehab and alcohol rehab, you could have saved like $30,000 a year for the rabbis to teach him to go in the right direction. For this we say, it's better to cry now and work hard now and do a Mesirat Nefesh now so that you'll be happy later, as opposed to chilling out right now and letting the kids to play on their iPhones and watch whatever they want and do whatever they want, as long as you have your own 2 minutes to yourself, your coffee, and cry later. Is it worth it? Absolutely not. Let's learn from Paro and not cry like Paro did when he had dead kids walking. Number 2, from the same Mesirat Nefesh, self-sacrifice, we're going to go into the story of Parashat Haman. You know, this week's Parashah, everybody, again, when it came to physicality, money, Parashat Haman, Tuesday, the Segula, we're all running after the Segula. Of course, I want Parnasah. I want money. I want to have a good life. So we all said it. We are Am Segula. You said Parashat Haman. Even the Shulchan Aruch brings down, you should say Parashat Haman every day. But why? Why are you saying Parashat Haman? Let's get to the Nekudah of here, to the dictates. We're saying Parashat Haman to understand what Shlomo Melech said, the smartest of all men. Lo lachachamim lechem. It's not kochi ve'osem yadi. It's not the 7 PhDs that I have. At the end of the day, the Uber driver is making more money than doctor that does not have a job. Why? Because Hashem decides if you're going to have money or not. That's the whole the purpose of Parashat Haman, that you say every day, not just on a Tuesday this week. In order to put it in our hearts that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave for 40 years to our forefathers in Egypt. None of them had university education. None of them had Teslas. None of them had Gava, whatever it is. Why? Because they understood that their everyday life, Baruch Hashem Yom Yom, is dependent on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They go to sleep at night, not knowing what's going to be tomorrow. But that emunah, that's the whole training for 40 years to get into your system. If it's not for Hashem, all your PhDs is down to the garbage. And that was what David HaMelech was. David HaMelech, he would go out to war in front of all the soldiers. Why? In order to be tested. Hashem sent them out. He killed all the people that he killed. He came back. Everybody's cheering, David HaMelech, David HaMelech. They're throwing their gold at him. What does it say? It's all Hashem. It's all Hashem. Lo kochi velo osem yadi. That's the whole purpose of Parashat Haman that we have to say every day. And with this, we want to say a story how a person, we talked about being a prime example of parents for their kids and how to instill into our kids how important it is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is taking care of us every second, and it's not kochi osem yadi. It's not our own. Of course, we have to do ishtadlut. But at the end of the day, we have to show with our Mesirat Nefesh that it's all from Hashem. Story not long ago that happened here in Yerushalayim, that a husband, an avrech, who was learning for about 10 years with his loving wife supporting him emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever it was, she wanted him to learn Torah. And of course, they weren't well-to-do, but they made it, Baruch Hashem, month to month, until it got to a point that there was barely bread on the table. So they were sitting and talking, and the avrech, the husband, says, listen, this is what I wrote on the ketubah. I have to support the family. Baruch Hashem, we had 10 beautiful years of learning Torah. Now I have to go work. And the wife, she also understands, but she starts crying. She's like, why are you crying, my dear wife? She's like, no, I don't want you to go to work. But what's going to be? We have to put... And the kids are watching. They're sitting and watching all this. She goes to the room, opens her jewelry box, takes out the most expensive ring, her wedding ring, the 5 carat, 2 carat, whatever it was. She's like, here, take this. Well, at least with this, we'll have another few months to go. And then, Bezat Hashem, we'll see what happens. No, this is the wedding ring. This is a diamond ring. Listen, I'm your wife, and I'm telling you, it's okay. It's worth it. It's worth it for your Torah learning. Again, the kids are sitting and watching all this. School for life. Okay, so he takes the diamond ring, and he goes to the shop to see how much it's going to be. The guy takes the diamond ring, It says $2,000. It says, Baruch Hashem, $2,000 could get us through another 4 months. Okay, so he says, okay, I want to sell it. It's like, why do you want to sell it? I mean, it's your wife's ring, no? Yeah, this is a situation. I'm learning Torah for 10 years, and my wife has agreed to sell it. I also told her no, but this is her Mesrat Nefesh, self-sacrifice. So the diamond dealer is like, look, listen, I'm just a beginner over here. Why don't you go across the street? My brother is in the diamond industry for much longer. Maybe he'll give you a better value. Maybe I'm not giving you, of course, this was a God-fearing person. Okay, so he goes across the street. In the meantime, the brother calls his brother. He's like, this is a situation. Take care of the situation. This is unbelievable self-sacrifice from him, from the mother, from the wife. Okay, he gets to the store. He's like, how much is this? Checks it out. $10,000. Whoa, Baruch Hashem, we're good for a whole year. Thank you very much. Are you sure? $10,000? He takes $10,000 cash, puts it in an envelope. Here you go. Puts it in front of him, and here's your ring also. What do you mean? He told me that it's $10,000. Take the ring. Listen, my friend. The ring is worth $2,000. And my brother called me and told me the self-sacrifice, and we decided together we want to give this envelope $10,000 and take your ring back. And this $10,000 is for your self-sacrifice, for the Mesrat Nefesh that you and your wife are doing. And that's not all. When this $10,000 is finished, you come back for another envelope of $10,000, and another one, and another one. Because we want to be partners with you in your Mesrat Nefesh for Torah. Lo lachachamim lechem. This is Parashat Aman. And this is what the kids see. They see that the Mesrat Nefesh brings them a wallet of $10,000 every month or whatever it is. Because when you want it bad enough, Hashem will give it to you. And these kids are now set for their whole life. When they grow up, they also want to be Avrachim. And the girls want to also be supporting their husbands to learn Torah. Because it's the examples that you set at home. Instead of all the vacations that you want to go to. Cutting down to 3 vacations instead of 5. Sending the kid to yeshiva. These are the examples that we want. These are the examples that the kids need to see today. Like we saw with this family. And that takes us to Bishvat, and we finish with this. We know that to Bishvat, the question is asked, what's going on over here? In the dead of the winter, to have a new year for trees? Rabbi, look outside. The tree is dead. No leaves, no greens, no perot. Isn't it better to make this in spring? If it was a reform rabbi, he'll push it to spring. But obviously we're not reform. Hashem told us that this has to be in the dead of the winter. And we keep that. Why? But why? There's nothing outside. It's very depressing. It's cold. It's snowing. It's 30 degrees below zero in Chicago, I heard. The guy came to throw a hot cup, throw the water in the air, and it became ice. What's going on over here? This is what you call celebration of... Yes. Hashem is not interested in what's outside, what you're seeing outside right now. He wants to teach us a lesson what's going on inside the ground. Inside the ground right now, underneath all the choshech, all the cold, something's happening over there. The roots are taking form. All the water is going and being sapped up into the tree. And by springtime, what you don't see now will be luscious fruits by the summertime. Meaning what? Obviously the teaching is here that in the winter of our lives, we can't get depressed. We have to work, and believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He takes care of everything. Maybe it's cold right now. Maybe things are not going the way. Maybe you have to go to work and put the Torah on the side. Hashem wants Mesrat Nefesh, like the family that we saw. Show me how much you care about Torah and I'll give it to you. Don't look what's going on outside. Give me the heart inside. And if I see you give me the heart, I'll give you the spring of your life. The winter will become spring. The darkness will become light. The barren tree will give fruits. And with this would end the prime example in this Parashah, Vayan Miriam. All of a sudden, this person, Tzaddiket, named Miriam, the sister of Aaron and Moshe. She answered the question. What question? There's no question asked. Vayan, all of a sudden, she jumps up at the end of Az Yashir. Everybody's singing, praising Hashem. She jumps up with the drums and starts singing to Hashem. Thank you. What are you answering? What are you talking? Who told you to talk? You know who told you to talk? 86 years of silence. When this woman was a kid, when she was born, 86 years before that, they called her Miriam because that's when they started to embetter the lives of the Jewish people. They all said, what a bad luck. This girl's such bad luck. Miriam, as soon as you were born, we became slaves. At the age of 3 years old, all the gezerot are getting harder and harder. Pharaoh is telling the Jewish people to throw their kids into the Nile River. Gets up, the Gadol Ador, her father, and divorces his wife. What do we need kids for? To throw him into the Nile River? Gets up, a 3-year-old girl. Daddy, Daddy! What's going on? What are you saying? Take back mommy. What kind of person are you? Of course, with respect, she said it. You divorce your wife. You're the Gadol Ador. Everybody's going to divorce their wife. You're worse than Paro. He wants only the boys dead. You also want the girls dead? He accepted the argument. Took back Yochai. Everybody took back their wives. And from that, the Redeemer was born. But that's not the end. 3 months later, they come knocking on the door. They have to put the Moshe Rabbeinu in the Nile River. Gets up her father and slaps her in the face. This is your prophecy. This is it. She doesn't give up. She goes by the Nile River. Emunah deep inside the heart. I know if Hashem said that Hashem is gonna redeem us, we're gonna be redeemed. Pakot pakadi etchem. Looking onwards, everybody's giving up. What's gonna be with Moshe? Of course, we know Moshe was saved, but a few years later, Moshe has to run away. Everybody says that's it. The Redeemer runs away. Forget it, Miriam. Throw in the towel. She doesn't give up until 80 years later. Moshe comes back. In the meantime, from all the crying and from all the prayers, she's become a weakling. Nobody wants to marry her. And then the Gula comes. Now Hashem starts giving the fruits of all the winter. For 86 years she went through winter. But all the emunah and the roots now is going to come about. She gets married to none other than Kaleb ben Yefuneh. She becomes the mother of Moshiach Tzidkenu. She was a weakling. After the salah that she gets, she becomes fully beautiful, like a 20-year-old girl. And she gets up in the middle of the Red Sea and says, Vayan Miriam, 86 years, you screamed at me. You said this is impossible. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave her the answer. Ba'erev yalim bechi u'boker rina. It's outside. Go outside right now. You see it's cold. It's dark. But we see from Miriam, no matter how cold it gets, no matter how dark it is, Hashem is with us. And Bezat Hashem, we're going to go into the springs of our lives, and we're going to have the Moshiach Tzidkenu b'chesed hachamim b'mehera v'yeminu amen. Shabbat, Shalom u'varach.